Hi, I'm Simon. I love making things, and today I'm going to show you how I took a cheap Nerf blaster that I got off eBay and turned into something really cool for cosplay. As I've been making video games for 40 years, Confetti, the game development college in my home city of Nottingham here in the UK, invited me to speak to their students about my career. Knowing my passion for prop and costume design, they asked me to create a workshop series blending those skills with game development techniques. So I thought, why not do a Nerf blaster conversion with simple, accessible techniques, which means no 3D printing, specialised paints or tools, and approach it like I would when designing an object for a video game. The students and I all take a Nerf blaster, choose a game or fictional world we like, and then customise, paint and weather the blaster to match the production design of that world. So I bought a second-hand blaster from eBay, took a photo of it and overdrew it so I'd have a basis to work from. Then came the question of what game I'd like to convert it for. Now, I'm a massive fan of the Borderlands series. The games are colourful, chaotic, lots of fun, and don't take themselves seriously. And its world and production design are a perfect fit for this project. I dove headfirst into the world of Borderlands weaponry. Think colourful, comic book creations customised with makeshift tactical upgrades, personalised by their owners, and worn by years of combat in the wastelands of Pandora. With this research under my belt, I started sketching, throwing out as many ideas as I could think of. And, as always, I eventually landed on a favourite. I then proceeded to sketch that up in more detail. Next up, paint schemes. I experimented with all sorts of ideas inspired by my references, graffiti, patterns, text, and all that signature Borderlands chaotic humour. Happy with the design, I was ready to get started. First things first, surgery time. I took the blaster apart. It donated its internal organs to the cause. I didn't need any of those bits and pieces. My experience tells me that the internal parts often make the best external greeblies. My design called for an extended barrel, so out came my trusty rotary tool. I carefully opened up the existing barrel, making room for a length of PVC pipe. I also carved out extra space deeper inside the blaster's body, ensuring the PVC pipe could go in far enough to be nice and secure. Wouldn't want that barrel falling off mid-firefight. With the pipe now snug and secure, it was time to tackle the barrel length. Referencing my sketch, I marked up the PVC pipe and with a satisfying snip of a pipe cutter, brought the barrel to its final length. Next up, the suppressor. I grabbed my handsaw and mitre box and carefully cut a length of larger diameter PVC pipe. I'll be honest, I don't know a thing about how real-world weapons work, I just like the way it looked on my sketch. A quick hit with some sandpaper to clean up those edges, followed by a test fit. I then raided my collection of found objects, all those circular and cylindrical bits and bobs I've rescued from the trash. I found a couple of perfect candidates, a little bit of surgery with my drill and step a bit, and they'd be ready to slip right over the inner barrel. Now how to fill that gap? My solution? Good old cardboard and aluminium tape. Low tech? Absolutely. Dirt cheap? You bet. But hey, nobody's going to see it, and it's all about keeping things snug and secure. Out came the aluminium tape again, this time to bridge the gap at the end of the barrel. Time for some more surgery, this time on what used to be the battery cover. Out came the stepper drill again, creating a perfect opening for a short length of PVC pipe, the foundation for the blaster's lower barrel. The pipe coater made another appearance, this time to size the lower barrel. For this step, I opted for 5-minute 2-part epoxy glue. It's a bit whiffy, but cheap, super strong, easy to mix, and gives me just enough working time. Superglue has its place, but I often find it bonds better to my fingers than the actual parts. Plus, epoxy is more robust and I definitely don't want bits of this blaster falling off at a convention. And with a bit more epoxy, the suppressor is complete. Time to attach the, let's call it a power cell for now. So I drilled a hole in the side of my blaster and popped a bolt through. With big prop attachments, you need a physical connection. If I'd just glued it, I'd be spending half my time at a convention crawling around looking for bits and pieces. With a power cell attached, it was time to reassemble the blaster. I was so busy making sure the lower barrel was attached, I totally forgot to check if it was straight. Cue a massive facepalm. Luckily, my heat gun came to the rescue. I carefully warmed the base of the PVC pipe and straightened it. And to sweep my little barrel straightening incident under the rug, I unearthed a little gem, a bulb holder from an old lamp, slid it right over the base and voila! No one's the wiser. The blaster also felt too flimsy, so I added some weight. I took it apart, again, and glued a bunch of metal nuts into the grip. Continuing the found object fun, I repurposed parts from old lamps to create the end caps of the power cell. And you know what's crazy? How many found cylindrical objects just happen to fit perfectly inside each other. is because most manufacturers' stuff uses nice round dimensions, so if you've got a little collection of junk lying around, you'd be surprised how easy it is to create something that looks super high tech. Now, don't ask me why I had these lying around or where they came from, but my found parts stash contained 2 ridiculously heavy metal plates, and amazingly were the exact size I needed for the blaster's sides. So some glue and pocket hole screws, which have kind of cool sci-fi looking screw heads, and they were attached. Sometimes you get lucky. The power cell needed a little extra something, and as luck would have it, I had just the thing: leftover plastic parts and a new tumble dryer door installation kit. For filling holes and making armour plates and panels, I used Foamex, or Sintra if you're in the US. It's an expanded PVC foam board that's perfect for this kind of project. Seriously, this stuff's amazing. It's strong, it's easy to work with, and it's a much better option than EVA foam. I'm pretty sure I've used this stuff on half the projects I've ever done, which is like my Mandalorian armour, gauntlets, blasters, even a droid. Now, because every sci-fi blaster needs a bit of random text left on it, I glued on a piece of what I think was from an old laptop hard drive. The front sight? Its origins are shrouded in mystery. Let's say it was a leftover piece from some self-assembly furniture and leave it at that. A metal washer to add more detail to the bottom of the grip. Okay, time for the point of no return. Filler. Out came the car body filler. It's stinky stuff and gloves are essential. But it's the best way I've found to hide the screw holes. A couple of applications, a bit of sanding, and that toy look will be a distant memory. As always, filler rarely works its magic in one go. This took 2 rounds with sanding in between. So here's a pro tip. When the filler's about half cured, use a craft knife to trim off any excess. Trust me, it'll save you a ton of sanding time later. Finally, time to get rid of all that branding and legal text. You can do this at the beginning, but I figured I'd wait since some of it would be covered up anyway. A metal file for the heavy lifting, followed by sandpaper for a smooth finish, and it was all gone. Next up, scuffing everything up with sandpaper. This is crucial. It gives the paint something to grab onto. Nerf blasters have a super shiny finish, so sanding knocks that down. Plus, I'd added all sorts of different plastics and PVC which can hold paint differently. A good sanding ensures everything has a nice even surface. Then, the big clean. I vacuumed every part of the blaster to get rid of all the dust and debris. To remove any grease that could ruin the paint job, I wiped the blaster down with isopropyl alcohol. Washing your props in water with dish detergent also works, but that takes a lot of time. And with that, I thought I was finished. Oh, hold on. This is the part of the video where somebody does a sponsored ad read, but I don't want to do that. I just want to talk to you behind the screen there, taking valuable time out of your day to watch my video. I really appreciate it. And if you're having a rough time, don't worry. Things are going to get better. I've got faith in you that it's going to all work out. So hang in there and keep going. Right, time to get back to the second part of the video. The next day I introduced the project to the game art students in Confetti, emphasising the crucial role of production design. Every object in a video game, from a rusty pipe to a high-tech weapon, tells a story and contributes to the world building. So we're using the same approach for our Nerf blaster customisations, researching the fictional world, creating multiple sketches and colour treatments before the final build. This ensures that each blaster feels authentic and believable. I got home, but a few things were bugging me. I had some prop making tricks I wanted to share with the students, plus I kept thinking about those huge blades on the Borderlands weapons. So I went back to the workshop. The power cell needed a little love. I'd missed some details in my sketch, so out came the Foamex. It's easy to engrave panel lines on Foamex. All you need is a ruler and something to press onto it. I used a bradawl. Then, heat forming. A little heat from the heat gun, just enough to make it flexible, then wrap it around the power cell and wait until it's cooled. A few touch-ups on the engraved lines and little sandpaper, and the power cell was looking much more like my concept. And time for the big one, the blade. Foamex would have been just too flimsy, so I went with MDF. First I made a cardboard template to get the shape right. Then used a handsaw for the straight edges, jigsaw for the curves, and an electric sander to smooth things out and give the blade a nice bevel. Next I used my rotary tool to create a slot for the tab I designed in the blade. As I said, for large attachments like this, a mechanical connection is essential. Glue alone won't hold. The back of the blade needed a little extra support, so I drilled a hole and popped in a pocket hole screw. Then I chopped off the screw head and drilled a matching hole in the blaster for the screw post. With the blade shaped, it was time for a crucial step, sealing the MDF. This stuff is incredibly porous and will drink paint like there's no tomorrow if you don't seal it first, so a quick coat of seal is essential. And then, as always, a thorough cleaning with a vacuum cleaner and isopropyl alcohol to prep the blaster for paint. To make sure the paint job lasts, I sprayed the blaster with an adhesion promoter. It's especially important when working with multiple types of plastic. With the adhesion promoter dry, the next step was to prime the blaster. I chose black primer for this project as it will effectively fill the recesses and provide an excellent base for any metallic paints. The choice of primer colour is crucial and depends on the final paint scheme. Grey is a versatile option, while white's ideal for projects with bright, vibrant top coats such as yellow. Now, if spray paint is an option, you can always use a brush and some surface primer like this, but spray paint is just so much faster and gets into all those tricky spots. Primer done. Of course, the MDF decided to be difficult and get all textured. Sanding, primer, eventually I won and the surface was smooth. And the magic moment? That final coat of primer that just transforms everything. Suddenly all those random bits of junk became one awesome object from another world. The next phase, and the next instalment in this series, is the paint job. Since we'll be in the workshop with the students and I want to make this series as accessible as possible, I'll be avoiding spray cans. So it's going to be brushes, masking tape, and also I'll be sharing some of my favourite ways to make things look metallic. So that's the design process and how to get your blaster ready for its paint job. I'll explain that in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.